What's going on, everyone? It's KB the Mark back to bring you the news. On today's wrestling report, we have many stories, starting with a timeline on an AEW star's injury. WWE is being very cautious with stars' health. AEW stars dispute an independent star's comments, and many more stories. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to stay up to date. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the news. AEW is weeks away from a historic event as they hold the upcoming All In event expected to air live on pay-per-view on August 27th from Wembley Stadium in front of over 75,000 fans in the UK before returning to Chicago a week later for All Out. The build for the show has started. MJF will defend the AEW World Championship against Adam Cole in the main event. AEW confirmed the bout earlier this week. Unfortunately, several names including Bryan Danielson and Jamie Hayter will not be wrestling at the show. Another name that won't be featured on the card due to injury is Thunder Rosa, who has been sidelined for nearly a year with a back injury. She had to pull out of an AEW Women's title defense at last year's All Out. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that as of this week, Thunder Rosa is among those who are not expected back in time for Wembley, although she is training for her return. Injuries will happen in wrestling no matter the style that someone has, whether that be a mat-based grappler or a high flyer. It's a physical business with the cliche line, "It's not ballet." For an AEW star, they found themselves on the sideline and will unfortunately be missing the upcoming All In pay-per-view event from Wembley Stadium later this month in front of over 75,000 fans. That star is Jamie Hayter, who put her women's title on the line against Toni Storm at the AEW Double or Nothing event this past May from Las Vegas, Nevada, with Storm walking away as the champion. Heading into the bout, it was known that Hayter was dealing with an injury. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that Hayter is expected to be back in February. The ratings are in for Wednesday's AEW Dynamite. The show drew 894,000 viewers, down from the 898,000 viewers the show drew last week. In the 18 to 49 demographic, the show did a .31 rating, which is up from the .29 last week. The show ranked number 1 on cable for the night in the key demo. The show on the same week last year did 976,000 viewers with the 18 to 49 demo rating of .33. AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida. Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions Aussie Open defended against El Hijo del Vikingo and Commander. Chris Jericho and Konosuke Takeshita versus Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. And Jon Moxley versus Penta El Cielo Miedo versus Trent Beretta in an Anything Goes match was featured on the card. Bryan Danielson suffered a broken arm at the AEW New Japan Forbidden Door pay-per-view event from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada in June when battling Kazuchika Okada in the main event. He worked for the last few minutes of the bout with the broken arm. It was initially believed to keep him out of action for 6 to 8 weeks, but it was a worse break than believed, and he had to undergo surgery for it on July 3rd. Because of the injury, Danielson's injury caused AEW to make several adjustments creatively with plans for Danielson to wrestle more on television following Forbidden Door. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that Danielson was told it would be 3 months before he could return, although it's possible he could return slightly before that by a week or two around October. This will rule out matches at All In on August 27th and All Out a week later. AEW President Tony Khan knew heading into 2023 that he would have to offer big money to top talent to keep them under contract with this promotion ahead of their deals expiring in 2024. The Elite have all signed multi-year contracts with AEW. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that Barry Bloom, legendary agent in the wrestling business, told the Young Bucks during the process that they surpassed WWE Hall of Famers Kevin Nash and Scott Hall as the highest guaranteed tag team in wrestling history. Meltzer wrote, Bloom had told the Young Bucks that as far as he knew, this was the highest guarantee any tag team in pro wrestling history had ever gotten, and that would include the highest contracts for Kevin Nash and Scott Hall in WCW, although obviously comparing a 2023 dollar figure with late 90s in straight dollars doesn't mean much given how much inflation has changed the value going that far back. The Elite have all signed multi-year contracts with AEW, keeping them with the promotion they helped start for the next few years. They had interest from WWE, especially Omega, who has been used as a top star for AEW for years. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that WWE was said to have been significantly interested in Omega, as he was #1 on the company's most wanted list. Meltzer noted that the time he missed in 2022 because of injury prevented WWE from talking to him earlier. It was stated that Omega was seen as a top talent who would have been used as a top guy in the mix with the likes of Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Brock Lesnar level guys. However, due to long-term physical durability, the company thinks Rollins, in the role of the best in-ring wrestler in the company, had more time than Omega would have had in the role. Several AEW wrestlers took to social media to what independent wrestler Lufisto claimed about issues within AEW's women's roster and about a plan for wrestlers to shoot on Thunder Rosa. Taya Valkyrie, MJF, Britt Baker, Renee Paquette, Saraya, Nyla Rose, and Madison Rayne are just some of the people in the company who have come out against the narrative that everyone on the women's roster hates each other. Baker disputed Lufisto's story about a backstage meeting and plans to shoot on Thunder Rosa. Baker stated that Rosa called the meeting to discuss personal issues, and she added, "I'm sure when she's ready, she can help clarify." Saraya also put over Ruby Soho as someone who is adored by everyone, and Paquette stated that the women in AEW look out for each other. That's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please be sure to check out more videos from the channel. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Once again, I'm KB the Mark, signing off. Until the next one. I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.